I, 26 female, am an escort and I am falling in love with one of my clients, 39 male.
She kissed him. Well, we've all seen Pretty Woman. We know the rules.
This was my Pretty Woman is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Julia Roberts, and Richard Gere is great too.
She kissed him.
Yeah, she kissed him. So that was when I first read this. I was like, "Oh my God, it's Pretty Woman!" And you'll see where that comes in.
Okay.
If you are going to pass judgment on my profession, please don't. If you are going to tell me I'm being exploited, please don't. I'm not here for that. I took on this client about a year ago, and I was immediately struck with how handsome he was. As I got to know him, he showed himself to be a kind, sweet, charismatic, utterly brilliant person. He is always gentle. I never had to enforce any boundaries with him. I have come to look forward to visits with him above any of my other clients. If there's a scheduling conflict, I will give him the priority. Lately, I have been more intimate with him than my other clients. Cuddles, kissing, hugs, and other things I don't do with my other clients. I love my overnights with him. We have long, deep talks about everything. We have a lot of shared interests, and we just get along really well. I feel very safe with him. I'm falling in love with him. It's never happened to me before. I have always kept emotions separate from my work, but I can't help it with him. I will spend time with him. I don't bill him for. I spend extra time with him, and I just love to be with him. I've been spending time with him casually, going on ... dates, I guess, for lack of a better word, that I'm not billing for either. And the lines are starting to become very blurry. I don't know what to do. I think I want to move the relationship from professional to personal. Truth is, it's already becoming personal for me. But I can't imagine he would be okay with my work if I was his girlfriend. I'm afraid of being rejected by him and ruining our work relationship. I think I would give this up to be with him, but that prevents a whole new set of problems for me in finding a new career. I don't know what to do. Do I go for it, risk rejection, and ruining our professional relationship? Do I give up my career for him if he says yes? I don't think I could continue this if I was with him, personally. Do I just keep silent and continue our relationship as is? Or do I drop him as a client altogether? I was never looking for a guy to save me, but I can't help what I'm feeling for him.
It's a very interesting problem to have because you're blurring the lines between like charging for time that you actually don't feel you should charge for because you're starting to actually, it's very...
Well, and like, this is her job. Like, you know, whatever your opinions are on this, you know, what she does, this is still her job. And it's like, it's kind of an odd concept to think about, but how many people have met their partners at work?
True.
She met, you know.
So you actually hit exactly where I was thinking. Let's take away the work, the job.
Of what it is, yeah.
Take away the job
it's just work for her. It's a livelihood.
The bottom line is that she met in life, we meet people that we want to be with. And where's her work environment? In the bedroom or in the hotel, wherever it might be.
Yeah.
And she met a guy that she's growing. This isn't the issue about that part. The part is why is he going for intimacy outside of where his normal realm is? And
I got you.
And what does he want in life? And is he going to accept that? He may be in love with her himself, and he may be going there because he's in love with her, but not the most important part of a relationship. Hey, in all these talks, you're gonna have to grin and bear it, and be honest to see where do we go.
So we have lots of updates. Let's keep it rolling.
Okay, you got an update?
Yeah.
Let's go. I want to hear it.
So edit number 1, I know why he's single. His wife died in an accident 3 years ago. Edit number 2, I can't believe how many responses this post has gotten. I'm going for it. I'll tell him this week. Now to figure out how.
Nice.
Lots had asked if I have backup. I do. Edit 3, I'm about to leave for lunch with him. I'm not going to bring it up yet, but I do intend to ask him if he ever sees himself getting married again. Thanks for all the support. I didn't expect to see this much support. Edit 4. Lunch was nice. We had a good time. I did ask him if he felt like he could ever be married again. He said 3 years ago, the answer would have been a hard no, but now he wasn't so sure. Then he asked me if I ever saw myself getting married, and I had a similar answer. I told
Wow.
him if I asked him if he wanted to come to dinner at my place tonight, not work, personal. He said he'd like that. I'm going for it.
Wow.
Final
It
update.
makes me smile. I'm a romantic at heart.
I'm a hopeless romantic,
I'm
which
a
is like,
romantic.
I don't think a lot of people get that because I'm such a hard ass on people on this podcast. But I'm like that because I know how good love can be when you're with someone that genuinely cares for you. And so I read these stories and I'm like, fuck this dude. No. Like, why be miserable? If someone makes you feel sad, bad about yourself, questioning everything, gaslit, don't. There's
Yep.
better people that will love you and respect you out there. And that's why I'm a hard ass.
Well, and I know, I feel like I say this every time I'm on, but it feels like all the movies that I watch with you,
I know.
where it's like two people that are not destined to be right for each other. And then it just comes out of nowhere.
I
And
know.
it just ends up being this really
I
beautiful
made you
thing.
watch Pretty Woman with me.
I think
With
so.
Julia Roberts. They go to the polo match. He's a business guy.
I don't think I watched it with you.
Oh my God, we're going after this and watching it. We just watched Me Before You last night though, you guys, and I bawled. It was
Good
I
movie,
did.
by the way.
It's such a good
Excellent movie.
It's so
Yeah.
good. Okay, so final update. Well, I truly didn't expect this post to get the reception it did. I didn't think this many people would care and become so invested in my story. I really didn't expect all the support I got. I was flooded with comments, PMs, chat requests. Some were about what I expected, accusations of gold digger and, quote, can't turn a hoe into a wife
Really?
type comments.
Oh, wow.
That's really the response I expected. What I didn't expect were the thousands of comments and messages of support.
Wonderful.
Yep.
You were all right, and that I did know what I really wanted. I did know what my heart was telling me, but seeing thousands of people tell me to go for it was the push I needed to not waste any more time.
Atta girl.
Shoot your shot, right? I'd like to address a few things before I get into the update. A few people mentioned the story about his wife might be fake and he's secretly married. I was pretty sure he wasn't married. I did call outs to his home, and my married clients never take me to their home, always a hotel. But I was regularly in his home. I saw pictures of her around the house. I knew she was real. How can I trust a guy who uses escorts? Well, this is a silly thing to judge him on, considering what I do. I can't imagine judging a man for using my service.
Yeah.
I was his first too. And unless he's a good actor, I know the awkwardness of a first timer. And he was definitely awkward when we first met. Okay, it's always awkward having sex with someone new for the first time. Always.
It is.
Yeah. Do you not have that?
No,
not-
we have the master over here.
No, I just thought I would pitch a curveball to you. That's really what it was.
I feel like it always is. I'm
No,
always.
I just thought I threw a curveball.
Okay.
It's the chin dildo.
I just had to have a little fun with you.
Yeah. Okay. I never asked him if he started seeing
I got
other.
her attention, didn't I?
I never asked him if he started seeing other escorts because, frankly, it's none of my business. I should wait for him to approach me. Unfortunately, this probably wouldn't work. As the lines became blurred, I did tell him about a few clients who became overly possessive, obsessive, and jealous, and I had to drop. I am sure he thought the same would happen to him if he tried to tell me he wanted a personal relationship. I had to be the one to
True.
make the move.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if she's already outlined that.
Right.
Do I want to do this forever? Do I really want to give it up? Different variations of this theme of leaving the biz. Some in favor, some against. Bottom line is, I don't think I see myself doing this into my 30s. It used to be fun and exciting, but lately it hasn't been. It just feels like work now. And the only meets I look forward to anymore are the ones with him. I also don't feel good about the idea of being committed to him, but still seeing clients. I heard from a lot of other sex workers and clients who were able to make that arrangement work, but I just can't. Even if he would be okay with it, I just can't.
I like this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Another add-on to this is a friend of mine who has never been crazy about what I do. She's giving me a standing offer to go work with her company on the sales team.
Nice.
A lot of people suggested we try going out as friends and doing things outside of our working relationship. I imagine my comments answering this one were buried in the flood of comments, so I'll put it here. We have been for some time now. We meet for lunches, dinners, we go to the movies, and make little trips to sites around where we live. We also text throughout the week. Okay, on to the update.
Yes.
I think I left off yesterday that we had met for lunch. This was sort of a normal thing for us lately, and we had a nice chat. I posed to him the question of if he ever saw himself falling in love and marrying again. He said after his wife died, he didn't think it would be possible, but now he thinks he might be able to with the right person. Then he followed up with a question about if I would ever think about leaving the biz and getting married. And I sort of answered the same, with the right person, followed by a pointed share. He had to go back to work by this point, and I invited him to my home for dinner. This was a first. He has never been to my home. I don't bring clients back there, only friends. I hoped that sent a strong signal to him. I went back home and started getting ready. I had to go shopping for some things and get the place ready to have a guest over. I called my friend up. She knows about this guy and has been on the same page as Reddit, pushing me to make a move and settle down into something more normal. I told her about the Reddit post and said I was making the jump. I also let her know I wanted to take her up on her offer. I called up my upcoming appointments and canceled. I said something had come up and I wouldn't be available. I'm out. I'm
Wow.
done regardless of what happened with him. If I can't get my head in the game anymore and I'm getting too personal, plus now I'm realizing I want to be in a relationship, I can't separate sex from my feelings like I thought. It's time to call it. This isn't what I want anymore.
Growth.
That's very cool.
Just like finding you, being happy, doing you. Like even again, regular jobs, people go through this. We all plateau in our current position and we're like, okay, I need more, I need bigger, I need better. I'm ready to handle more. I've grown. So yeah, it's awesome.
A lot of respect for her.
So much.
I'm not even making my comments, if you notice, and I had a boatload of them.
I know you're a very sexual person, so
and this woman gets a free pass on everything that she has said. I have the utmost respect for the way she processed her love, her feelings, and her growth, and I think it's fantastic.
And I think there's a lot to be said too, where no matter what your job is, like everyone is entitled to respect. Everyone is a human. I think, sex workers are very stigmatized, and that is something that I think a lot of places are making advancements in. And
if you don't come out with a happy ending on this,
okay,
you will be disowned.
There we go.
Okay, I'm going.
I'll keep Justin, but you are out.
This choice was for me, not him. Even if things didn't work out with him, I realized I really did want to be in a committed relationship with someone. One thing that people mentioned was the idea that he could turn violent when I told him. I honestly didn't believe he would, but I asked my friend to call and check on me just in case. She knows the drill. We have safe and emergency words set up, and we have a plan for if she gets no response from me at all. I got my shopping done and got dinner going, set the place up nice and romantic, and got myself dolled up nice and sexy, and got ready to have him over. He came by at around 7. He had flowers for me and a bottle of wine. I invited him in. He said he wasn't sure if he should bring payment or not, and just did. I told him that wasn't necessary. He wasn't here as a client. I don't bring my clients to my home. I was really hoping he got the hint. Dinner was going nicely. We had our usual rapport, but I could tell he was a little perplexed about what this was all about. So I put on my big girl pants, gathered my courage, and shoot my shot.
Yep.
As you put it. I told him I was dropping him as a client. He looked surprised and hurt. He wanted to know why.
Oh.
What did he do wrong? Did something happen? I assured him it wasn't about him. I was leaving the business and dropped all my clients. I told him about the job I took and he wished me luck. He said I was attractive and charming and he was sure I would do well in sales. He said he was going to miss me. I took a deep breath and said, quote, "You don't have to miss me if you don't want to."
Nice.
And then I spilled it. He was the only client I brought home to tell in person. I laid it all out, all the things I mentioned in the post. How I felt about him and how I didn't want to be his escort anymore. I wanted to be his girlfriend. I said I understand. He paid me to leave and not stick around, and now I was asking to stick around, and I would understand if he didn't want to continue on. He said, "Who told you that? That he paid me to keep coming back, not to leave." He said he felt it too, but he wasn't sure if it was appropriate to ask me that. He was still hurt over his wife, and that he wasn't even sure if he was ready, but that some of the best things in his life he started when he wasn't sure if he was ready. He asked me if I was okay with being with someone who was still hurting over his ex. I told him I could work with it and that I wasn't trying to replace her. We kissed. I led him into my bedroom and we made love. We spent some time after in each other's arms talking about what comes next. He offered to help me make the transition, but I told him I wanted to try and do this on my own and not rely on him. I appreciated his offer, and if I needed the help, I would ask, but I need to try on my own at first. He respected that. I told him that things would change now. As his girlfriend, I would have expectations of him I never had as an escort. He was okay with that. I told him I never asked or cared if he saw other women before, but now I wanted monogamy. I would give it, and I wanted it in return. So if he was seeing other escorts, that would have to end. And I reminded him I dropped my clients. He said that wasn't a problem. I was the only one.
That's what I thought.
He spent the night with me and left this morning. Where is this going to lead us next? I have no idea. Maybe I'm making a huge mistake. Maybe this was fate. Maybe this was God working in mysterious ways. Maybe we're just two lost and lonely souls tossed around by the stormy seas of life that managed to find each other and cling to each other. Fate, fairy tale, or fluke, we are going to see where this leads us next, and we're doing it together. I'm excited, elated, and terrified all at once. My whole life has drastically changed in just a day. I didn't intend to move this fast, but once this train started rolling, it seemed like there was no stopping it. To everyone who said I was a worthless whore who could never be loved, fuck you too. To everyone who expressed concern, thank you. Maybe this is a mistake, but I have to find out. To everyone who encouraged me to go for it, thank you. You were right. Without the thousands of responses to go for it, I would have languished in that limbo for a lot longer. As a final thought, I want to say that this isn't normal. If you see sex workers, please don't think this is the norm and that the woman you see may also fall in love with you. While I'm sure this happens, and I've heard from others who are in similar positions of mine, it's really not the norm. If you're considering sex work because you think you can find Prince Charming, know this outcome is very unusual. Oh, and I hated Pretty Woman, by the way. I never thought it would be me one day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I still like her. I wish you all the luck in your love.
Yeah.
And you can't even think about it as potentially being a mistake. You just go for it. I mean,
go for it.
you're gonna if you don't go for it, you're gonna sit there the rest of your life wondering.
It's beautiful. Great story.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing.
Well, life is full of chances and taking chances. And I think with the relationships especially, yes, there's some that maybe shouldn't be acted on, like some stories like, oh, I've fallen in love with my sister's husband. Should I tell him?
Right.
There's some trickier ones that, okay, maybe shouldn't be acted on, but I think it's silly always wondering what if. Take the chance. If you fall on your ass, that's okay. And that's relationships, a new job,
Yep.
moving away from
You
home.
never want to have to go a couple years later and say, what if?
Yeah.
There's no what if here. You did it. And
No.
It's fantastic.
I always give my friends advice that too, people that are thinking of moving away from home or moving and making a big change or chance or whatever. And I'm always like, it is so easy to move home or go back to doing what you were doing. Go for it. If you have the opportunity now, go for it.
Yeah, I pushed there was this communications class I had in college that you were supposed to take as either a freshman or sophomore. And I pushed it all the way to senior year. And it ended up being the last class I ever had in all of my schooling. So it ended up being the last class on the last day of my senior year of college. And that was speech day. And in this class, it all built up to this speech at the end where I gave this speech about following, I guess, in a sense, following your heart, following your passions, following what you want to do, and just going for it. Try and make it happen. And if you don't, it's going to be the easiest time in your life to kind of reset and regroup. But then you're not sitting there wondering what if. And so I stood up there, gave this full speech, and went on and on about how I'm leaving Minnesota, I'm going to New York, I'm going to try music, I'm going to do this, that. And I truly said, I'm scared. I'm very scared, but I'm excited. And I'm so driven and so ready for it. I ended up getting, an A and doing really well, even though I did none of the required things.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I still have friends from that class that are still in Minnesota, kind of followed the path they didn't want to. They don't love their job. They don't love what they're doing. They work for the weekends. And that's just what I was trying to portray, is that it happens to too many people I know. And when you really go for it, you never know what can happen.
No, and I don't think there's a right age to I think the younger you take the chance and do what you want to do, the better. But that being said, there's never a wrong age to take a chance. 30, if you're unhappy at 30, change. Go do what you really want to do. 40, 60, 80.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do. So she does give another little update. Hey everyone, I've been getting a lot of PMs and chats about my original post, and I decided I'd give you all a Thanksgiving-ish update and a new question. So I know this hasn't been long since my first post, but one of the things that people had brought up was that I was a fantasy to him, and that if things ever became real, the fantasy would be over and the real him would show up. Well, I'm happy to say no abusive, misogynistic, malignant, nefarious side of him has as yet been revealed to me. He's very much still the same kind and wonderful man I fell in love with. Our relationship is changing and very much for the better. There's no longer any fear between us. We can both be honest about how we feel about each other without the other being scared we're crossing lines. Plus, now that I am out of the biz, my nights and weekends are much freer than they were previously, and that's time I am spending with him now that otherwise I would have spent working. It's really nice to be able to see him whenever I want and not have to worry about other clients booking. We were able to get away for the weekend together. I feel like a teenager in love.
Love it.
Amazing.
I do too.